Hi, I'm Jeffery Reeves. I'm the Public Works Director for the City of East Point, and this is a segment of Open Talk. And I'll be chatting with two of our three East Point charming employees that are here as our new millennials. I kind of like messing up because you could correct me because it's such a hard name. So I have Shannon Wiggins here as our City of East Point Public Information Officer. I have Miss Jamayca Cole, who is our Communications Coordinator. And then we'll have Ashley Gainey, who is our Program Analyst, IT Department. And Ashley's not able to make it today. So I did want to actually mention her name. And today our program is going to be discussing some questions that we had to talk about in our open talk. So we want to talk about, these are young ladies who are a few of our City of East Point millennials, which is a very hard word to say. My wife told me, she corrected me several times about what it was, so I finally got it. So I went and I said, well, what is a millennial? And some of the descriptions, it says a person reaching young adulthood in the early 21st century. I was well past an adult in the 21st century, okay? Okay. Another distinguishing feature of millennials is that they come to college from a lifestyle that was highly scheduled, which is very interesting. That means, when I looked that up, it means they were kind of directed towards going to college. They had a platform that they built from elementary, middle school, to go to college and so forth, so preparing them for that workforce again, okay? Then the other thing is the Generation Y. 1980, starting birth years through 2000. You guys fall in that category?
We do.
Okay. We're going to move on. I got a few questions that I developed that I wanted to talk to the young ladies about, and we're going to hit them up, and then you guys can both answer them, or you can turn it over. I really like to hear both of you, your comments on the questions. So our first question was, tell me about your background and the positions that you hold in the City of East Point.
Okay. Well, I'm the Public Information Officer for the city, so I'm responsible for disseminating information to 35,000 residents here in the great city of East Point. I manage the social media platforms that we have. I do the newsletter. I speak at various different neighborhood association meetings. I host a show here on EPTV called The Point, which highlights and recaps a lot of different events and just projects and improvements going on here in the city of East Point. So my job is mainly to sum everything up, to really get the information out there to residents in all aspects of media, whether that be written, verbal, through video, just any type of platform that, will reach them.
Great, cool.
For me, I'm the communications coordinator for the City of East Point. So my role in it is to assist Shannon with the communications department, more so on the business side of things, like our financial things. I also work a lot with council on the council events, like our Wednesday wind down, MLK celebration, and raising the money for these events. A lot of our sponsorships and businesses that we work with. So I have like a great business relationship with a lot of the businesses here in East Point. That's my biggest role here.
Okay. And the reason I brought these ladies together is that I work with them very closely, and I was really inspired and admired their work and the diligence in their work. So I thought that this would be a good occasion for me to highlight them. So, okay, let's talk about millennials.
Okay.
You tell me what you guys think about when you hear the word millennials.
I feel like we're very creative people. I think we're very forward thinking. I think that we can pick up on things very quickly with, the age of all this like new technology that we're in. So yeah, I think we're very forward thinking people. However, there are a lot of things about millennials too that I think we need to work on. But other than that, I think, that we're a great asset to society.
I agree.
I can kind of piggyback off of what Shannon says, because we talk about this a lot. We get a lot that, oh, you guys are the good millennials, and sometimes we really don't know what that means, and we get confused, and we're like, what is that supposed to mean? But as she said, some of us millennials need a little more work than
and
others.
Guidance.
What I don't like is that we don't have a lot of millennials in government. And I think that makes it a little challenging for us sometimes because people don't always understand our ideas and perspectives because they're not used to them. I think it's a great thing. I think we're very creative. We are very forward thinking and sometimes maybe a little too forward thinking. So it kind of can be a pro and a con.
Yeah, I do. I have a daughter, Jasmine, and I kind of can definitely can see what you guys are saying about, being a certain level of not stubbornness, but you're strong-minded in what you do, and I see that in both of you, just spearheading and dealing with local government, and even because you guys are working in local government, that was one of the components that I thought about as well in interviewing you, because you don't have a lot of young folks, as you might say, in local government unless they're coming in to work in a labor position. But in the areas where you guys are in, you don't see that a lot, and I think that's very important. Okay, that's cool. So this next little question is it might go a couple different ways, but. In this past year, 2018, the social climate dealing with women and issues of harassment in the workplace, what is your take about the issues and the climate that we dealt with in this past year?
Well, I've never experienced sexual harassment in the workplace or anywhere for that matter. However, I think that it's very important that topics like this are being discussed and moved to the forefront because it's been pushed back for so long and not many people, were discussing it. So I think things like the Me Too movement are very important and that people are, discussing this and holding people accountable for their actions. If something like that were to ever happen to me in the workplace, I'd let you know right up front that's not happening. Right. There's going to be a firm stance on this, and I'm going to make sure that I report it and that someone knows.
Okay.
I also have never experienced any type of sexual harassment in the workplace, and I'm grateful for that. I do think it's a very unfortunate thing for women or people in general that have, because I think in previous years, individuals have been scared to come forward with their issues because of their careers and what could or could not happen to them if they did speak out. Me personally, as Shannon said, I would definitely have to say something, but I think also millennials, we've kind of been taught to speak our mind more and not allow things to just happen, and so we kind of view things in a different way. So me personally, I would have to say something, and I'm grateful that people are now encouraged to speak out, whether it's been 15, 20 years since it's happened to them, but you feel like it's now an okay place to say something and you're safe now and nothing can happen to you now. It's been so long where the person is no longer in a space with you where you can't say anything.
Mm-hmm. That's great response. And to add to that, there's been me being in city government for almost 20-something years, 20-odd years, there's been a lot of training that we've had down through the years in reference to harassment, all types of harassments in the workplace. So I think that is an added thing as well, and you guys coming in and understanding on why this thing can be resolved and we don't have as much in the workplace. Mm-hmm. Okay? All right. Next question. There have been a lot of women who paved the way in our society that have contributed to the success to your success as a young black woman. Just to name a few people: Oprah, Maya Angelou, Michelle Obama, Queen Latifah, Coretta Scott King, Shirley Chisholm, Josephine Baker, Hattie McDaniels, just to name a few. Rosa Parks, who was definitely, we all understand that. So tell me about how you feel about these women, some of the names you know, some of them you may not know, but how do you feel about those women who have paved that path for you and what you plan on doing in reference to continuing that? And we'll start here with Jamayca so she can.
What I'm going to say is I think it makes it easier for us to do more things. Like Oprah's one of those women for me that let me know that I can do anything. So although I do have a career in government, it gives me the push to do other things outside of government, to start my own businesses, and it lets you know that you don't have to stick to just one thing. She didn't have to just be an actress. She went into TV, she did magazines, she owned a TV station. So it lets you know that you don't have to just be stuck in one place. And I think sometimes when you don't see other people do it or know that the opportunities are out there, you can just say, I'm just going to work, and that's it.
Mm-hmm. I think what a lot of those women did for myself is not to be afraid to be a boss or be a leader, you know, take leadership positions, you know, that you can do anything. I myself am a huge Michelle Obama fan, and I'm even bigger fan now that I'm reading her book Becoming, because she just keeps it so real, and I just love her insight into things, and you know how she, you know, managed to hold down the first lady position as well as being a wife and a mother and just being a role model to so many women. And Oprah is another great example, as well as like Monica Kaufman, who's now Monica Pearson. When I was growing up and wanting to be a news reporter, and I actually, you know, was a news reporter for a couple of years, and being in the TV industry and just really emulating their styles and just seeing, you know, how great of like journalists that they are. So I think all those women are they're just waymakers.
Awesome.
Great. I mean, wow. You know, my next question, you already pretty much answered about what women have inspired you in the 21st century, I believe, when you said Oprah, Michelle, and Monica Kaufman, who's a wonderful, you know, that sister is just, you know, retired from TV after so many years, and then she goes on to the radio and has her own radio show. She's like, she never ends. It's just like she just gets younger each day. So if there's anybody, are there any others in the 21st century other than those you mentioned that may have inspired you to, you know?
I love Angela Bassett. I think everything about her, she's like beauty personified, and she just represents like strength, and I think that she's another great person that is just so diverse in her acting, and I think that she does just a great job of being a woman of color in the community and representing, you know, having a good representation for us.
I think it would have to be Jada Pinkett Smith for me. Because watching her growth over time, to see how she's continued to progress, and she's always done it in her own lane, in her own way, and never compromised herself for the business, and she just continues to elevate. And just watching her more in her Red Table Talk segments on Facebook, it just shows me her strength and how she's pushed through adversities and made these changes and continue to make great strides, and great mother and actress and philanthropist in the community, especially for us as African American women in these fields.
Two outstanding women, very much so. I think this next question, I want to talk about how young ladies actually worked your way into city government. I know myself, in coming up, I remember my parents and family saying, hey, get into city government. Good job, you can work a long time, get a retirement, go on about your way. You know, the benefits are good and things like that. I got into city government probably about 25 years ago. I was doing things like life insurance and, you know, managing sporting goods stores and things of that sort. And I felt that I wanted to get something where I had a stable income. So I had some friends that I knew were in city government, and they were like, well, you know, we'll get you in. So I got into city government, and here I am now, you know, who say the director of public works. Let's talk about how you guys kind of made your way into city government.
Well, I just happened to run across it. I never thought about working in city government. I was coming out of, you know, working in news, and I was like, well, I don't want to be in the news industry anymore, but however, I still want to stay in communications. So I was just applying for jobs, and I happened to run across this job for the city of East Point, and I applied, and I guess I did well in the interview enough to get it. But I mean, it really has been great. It's really, you know, opened my eyes to a lot of things. I've been able to really grow and, you know, just, you know, flourish as a public information officer and really understand the political realm for local government and how local government operates. So, I mean, it's been a great, you know, learning curve for me.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that you having to do so many different things or wear so many different hats in local government helps you with your experience?
Yeah, it makes you a well-rounded person. And you know, being able to work with so many different people and different departments. Like, I'm not just learning about communications department, I learn about the public works department, I learn about the water department, police department. Like, I learn all these different things because I have to be the one to be able to disseminate that information out to the public.
Right. Jamayca?
My story is a little different.
Oh, let's hear your story, Jamayca.
I never thought I would work in government. I've always had the dream of doing private sector, and it was my senior year of college, and I had to quit my full-time job, and I didn't know what I was gonna do. And my mentor and dean of my business college at the time called me because she knew my situation. I had just told her the day before that I had to quit. And she was like, hey, I got somebody that want to talk to you. And it was our city manager, Frederick Gardner, looking for an intern. And he needed someone that knew social media. And me being a millennial, I use social media every day. Right. So it worked out for me, and I turned to love it. It pushed me to different levels and areas that I never thought I would be in. As she said, working with the different departments, working with the council a lot, and having to figure out innovative, tricky ways to get through things, or coming up with these events and ideas like quickly and executing them and making the city look good, but building my resume as well. It was awesome for me, and I enjoy it. I enjoy the people. I enjoy working with Public Works and your team, and having the balance of working with our labor workers and working with our elected officials, department heads, because you get to, in my position, I get to work with everyone. I'm not just stuck in one place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just love the relationships that I'm building with people in the community, businesses, residents. Like, I just think it's wonderful.
Yeah, and you know that's a good thing, because there's a lot of people out there, and you see and you know, when we try to put out jobs, it's hard to hire people. And the one thing about city government, compared to your corporations or things like that, is that sometimes you don't have to have as much experience as you do in some of those corporate level jobs. So this is a stepping stone, and it's no problem. You know, we want good qualified people to come into city government.
You learn so much, and government jobs want millennials. I mean, it's like you said, it's a great stepping stone. Like it's a great opportunity to learn and get your feet wet into different, you know, whatever position it is that, you know, you may never thought of before. It's awesome.
Right.
It helped me bring my millennial perspective into a more straightforward thinking situation with my thought process, and saying, okay, well, we can do it this way, and this works out better, and this is what's working now, compared to what we've been doing the past 10 years here, changes a lot of things. And it opens others' minds to new perspectives and how they can do things moving forward. And sometimes it is a slow process to people coming around, but they come around and it works out good.
Yeah, it's all about moving the city forward.
Yeah.
That's it, you know, taking care of your city.
Yep,
Okay, so we'll move on. All right, last question here. Who may be the person or persons that you can say have inspired you to continue to be successful? Someone personal, someone who you feel?
My mother. Yes, my mother. I think that's where I get my work ethic from. Just everything that I've learned, you know, about being a leader and being in the workplace. Like, she's just awesome.
Go, Mom. What's Mom's name?
Patricia Wiggins. Yeah.
It would be my mom for me too. Just her strength to always push through things and to work hard. And that's where my work ethic comes from. My mom went to college for criminal justice. She's a paralegal now, but when I grew up, my mom owned nail salons. My mom does interior decorating. My mom can sew. She's kind of done it all. So it kind of gave me the push to say, nothing can stop you and you can do whatever you want to do.
Would you like to say Mom's name?
Shannon Cole.
Right. Well, these young ladies have attracted my eye with their knowledge of their positions, hard working on their craft, and skilled at what they do. Working in city government is an appealing job for young millennials today who don't seek working in city government as a step of nurturing their careers. These are two of my coworkers that I lean on. The skills assist me, and I'm very proud to call them my coworkers. So this is
Shannon, Wiggins,
Jamayca Cole.
And I'm Jeffery Reeves, and this is Open Talk.